This is RFD Today, a daily look at the key topics impacting rural Illinois. If you live in Illinois, we examine the issues impacting you, your income, and your community. Here's your host for today's program, DeLaw Schonke.
Hey, good Monday to you, Illinois. Thanks for joining us for this adventure in broadcasting on the 29th of April off another historic weekend. O'Hare, 2.5 inches of snow Saturday. Rockford, 3.7 inches of snow, which was the largest that late in the year, the largest accumulation that late in the year on record. They've been keeping track since 1904. And then you go over the Quad Cities, which is expected a bunch of rain this week. Already, the Mississippi is at the 8th highest level they've ever seen and could soon threaten the flood of 93, given what's going to happen rainfall-wise this week. And they say that could very well continue into June. On the program today, we've got much to discuss. We'll talk to Mark Marquis at Marquis Energy about plans to shelve new construction in Scott County, and we'll get into that. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about state and federal issues along with that. Also, Jennifer Smith at the IAA Foundation announcing scholarship winners, and Dale Dirkholz, hey, when's that spring rally going to take place, if at all? He'll be joining us from AgriVisor. First, though, a word with our Farm Week Crop Watcher. This week's Farm Week Crop Watcher is Gary Stewart in Northwest Stark County. Well, how is everything? Are you wet, or how's everything going so far?
Well, we only had 2/10 in that cold deal Saturday afternoon, but it's been raining here for a couple, 3 hours, and I let the dog out this morning, and it's not fit to be outside, so just hanging around until we can get some clear weather, and we'll go from there. Now,
what is yours? What is your show? Like parts of that area has rained for at least 3 more days, or today, tomorrow, into Thursday. Is that what you have too?
Exactly. That's exactly what we have, and everybody's pretty nervous about it, but none of us can control the weather.
Mm-hmm. Have you planted anything so far?
We do. We've got a couple 100 acres of corn planted and about 190 acres of beans, but I've got friends who are done planting corn.
Wow. So that would be a little bit ahead of schedule then, do you think?
No, it's really on schedule. I've
Okay.
used April 21 as the date to start as long as I can remember.
What about for soybeans? Has that date moved forward as you go
That
on?
has been moved forward. Last year we bought an old Kinsey planter and we're planting beans with it. Had to come up with another tractor and a guy to do it, but he's been doing great. So we actually planted beans before corn this year.
Wow. Is anything up yet?
No, nothing's up yet. Even the fellas that are completely done, nobody's got any emergence.
All right. Well, we'll see when that is. You don't want to rush back either if you get a dry day.
No, I worked a couple of fields a little bit wetter than I really wanted to, but we just felt like we needed to get it done. If we are going to get 2.5, 3 inches of rain this week, then those fields will be pretty well back to where they should be.
Gary Stewart, Farm Week Crop Watcher in Northwest Stark County. You can find his and other stories in each week's edition of Farm Week. All right, joining us on the program now on RFD Today is Mark Marquis Energy in the Hennepin area. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well, DeLaw. Good to be with you.
You too. Thanks. Good to visit with you again. Since 2015, Marquis Energy has been the largest dry mill ethanol producer in the country, if not in the world. A lot of ethanol being produced, a lot of corn being used to produce that ethanol, and there had been, I remember a year ago, there was an article in hearing things about, you were thinking about expansion, about another location, and so that was in Scott County, correct?
Yeah, Scott County, there's a small town called Bluffs near Jacksonville on the Illinois River.
Oh, gotcha. So on the river and south enough as well, so to avoid lock and dam concerns, I would assume. So I'm sure that had a lot of, that sounded like a pretty strategic type of location.
Yeah, that was part of the plan. It's below the 2 locks that are currently scheduled to have significant downtime over the next couple of years for lock and dam repairs, and so it was strategic to be below the locks.
Mm-hmm. And when you do something like that, I mean, that's years worth of planning and all that. I mean, it surely that takes a whole bunch of just strategy, hours of meetings, all kinds of connections and all those sort of things. So, I mean, this was, and then we saw an article last week saying that the plans have been shelved indefinitely. So, I'm sure it was something that you had considered pretty strongly for quite some time.
Yeah, we had. It had taken us about a year to put in place. About 2 years ago, we put in place land options, 2-year land options for more than 800 acres, including some riverfront and some strategic properties where you had the appropriate roads, railroad, and a place for a river dock. And so yeah, the planning started probably 3 or 4 years ago. We ramped it up about 2 years ago with these land options, but over the last couple of years, between the Illinois business climate and the and on the federal level, the international trade policy, it's put a damper on international trade. But there's also been some, the Illinois business climate has deteriorated, and so when you kind of look at both those things together, we decided not to go forward and not to renew. It was time to renew these land options, and we're letting them expire at the end of April.
Wow. Well, 800 acres in Scott County, and like you mentioned, railroad and river. And did you have an idea of how many people you were hoping to employ at an early stage like that?
Yeah, so the plan was to build a carbon copy of what we have at Hennepin in 2 stages. It would have been 2 phases. Each one would have employed about 100, maybe a little over, so 250 altogether when both phases were complete. We built the Hennepin site in 2 phases. The first one was under construction back in 2007, and the second phase was in 2014. And so it would have been a very similar process, very similar plant, scale-wise, 400 million gallons when both phases were complete. And we were a little surprised that there's a very good corn production area there around Jacksonville that had kind of been overlooked back when the big build-out of ethanol occurred in 06, 07, 08, where there was a good corn market available there and there wasn't a plant located right in that area. So we're always looking for an opportunity where there's river, rail, and interstate highway like we have at Hennepin, and we thought it was a good site. But as I said, the business climate in Illinois, between tax policy and some of the new requirements for the way that you'll be required to do business contracts on construction in Illinois, different than other states surrounding us, it was detrimental to return on investment for a project of that scale.
So Hennepin being in Putnam County, that certainly provides opportunities for farmers there and around there. I mean, just to have another option for corn, I don't know if that's worth another nickel or not, or it could vary, as the course of the year goes on. But also then to be in Scott County, just to give another option for those elevators and for those farmers. I mean, so, for that kind of processing to be done, surely that was something that farmers were looking forward to as well, and some of them might have even farmed there and worked there. I mean, even that sort of thing could have been conceivable, I'd guess.
Yeah, we have that at Hennepin, guys who deliver corn here that also farm on the side a little bit. They farm on the side and they work here and deliver some corn here. So that would have been the case. Our analysis showed that it would have raised the basis price of corn in Scott County about 10 cents a bushel. Anyway, that's on the shelf and it's unfortunate, but we did a lot of work on it, but we'll go forward. We're still happy to be here at Hennepin. We bring in about 500 truckloads of corn every day, 5 days a week, about 150 truckloads every Saturday. And we're happy to be a strong corn market for Putnam, LaSalle, Bureau, the surrounding counties in this part of Illinois.
Sure. There's so much opportunity, I think, for China in particular, because of their pollution issues and what if they had cleaner burning fuels and all that sort of thing. So you you see something that's an opportunity like that, but there are a lot of details to get from the beginning to the end on that sort of thing.
Yeah, with our plant at the scale size that it is and located on the river with barge access, we ship a lot to New Orleans and then ship it on with ocean-going vessels. And China had been a very good market for DDG and also a market for ethanol up until about a year and a half ago when they took what had been some 5% tariffs, some VAT value-added taxes, and they added on 35%, another 35%, got up to 70 to 90% tariffs on DDG and ethanol, and basically just shut us out of the China market. And when you add that on top of Brazil has put 20% tariff on U.S. ethanol, even though we don't charge a tariff on their ethanol that comes into California. And Europe had put a tariff on us that's set to expire, we hope, in the next month or two. But for the last 6 years, Europe had a tariff on our ethanol. So it's trade has been a point of contention for ethanol producers because I think a lot of times our federal government, in trying to protect manufacturers here, whether they're involved in steel, aluminum, cars, intellectual property, sometimes I think our politicians view agriculture in the U.S. as so strong, being we're the ag leader.
Hang on to that thought right there, Mark. We're up against a commercial. Hang on. We'll be back on RFD today.
Here's Rita Frazier.
When it rains, it pours. New Illinois State Water Survey research shows rainstorms have become much more intense and extensive since the 1980s. Learn more in the latest edition of Farm Week. Illinois Farm Bureau and other members of the Illinois Monarch Project share an agricultural plan to help monarch butterflies. Find out more about those plans and details in your next edition of Farm Week.
No other farm weekly in Illinois has as many people on the ground in Illinois covering Illinois agriculture for you with the depth on key issues to help keep you profitable. And don't forget, you can get daily or even more frequent updates online anytime at farmweeknow.com.
When it comes to social media, Sabrina Berkowitz connects rural routes for you. Sabrina covers a broad range of ag topics, so Farm Bureau members are the first to know about key issues. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I grew up with a grain and livestock farm in my extended family, and today I really enjoy helping people learn how to use social media to advocate for agriculture.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Country Financial has been protecting farms like yours for over 90 years, and while our values remain the same, our technology has advanced alongside you. Our free Country Crop mobile app lets you conveniently view policy documents and file or track a claim. And we've made sure our tools work with your precision ag technology, allowing you to easily upload your planting and harvesting data. Learn more at countrycrop.com. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. This entity is an equal opportunity provider.
Hi, I'm April Jewell, a teacher in Ballard County School District in Kentucky. Last year, we received word that our school had been selected to receive a $25,000 grant from the America's Farmers Grow Rural Education Program, sponsored by the Monsanto Fund, a philanthropic arm of Bayer. The grant is designed to help further science, technology, engineering, and math education. We used it to upgrade the technology in our classrooms to enhance health science curriculums and better prepare our students for various career paths. Now, through April 1st, farmers can nominate a school district to apply for $10,000 or $25,000 grants aimed at improving STEM education. I would encourage all eligible farmers to nominate today for a chance to make a lasting impact in countless classrooms. The process takes less than 5 minutes, and farmers can nominate their school district by visiting americasfarmers.com. That's americasfarmers.com.
All right, welcome back to RFD Today. I'm DeLoss Yawkey. Again, Mark Marquis, CEO of Marquis Energy in Hennepin. And we're talking about the shelving of would have been a $500 million expansion in Illinois in Scott County, which I assume you're talking about, 100 employees at each place too. I mean, those are, some of that is skilled labor, there's a lot of engineering and, a lot of jobs, I would assume pretty good paying jobs as well in a situation like that.
Yeah, they're good paying jobs and they're, it's 24/7, 365 the way an ethanol plant operates. And of course, when you're under construction, there's about 300 to 400 construction jobs for about a year and a half when the plant's actually being built. And so yeah, it's very good business. When we did it here at Hennepin, it had a great impact on the local economy. We're just disappointed that Illinois was putting in. There's some pending regulation that we would not be able to use the builder we used at Hennepin under the contract that we used before. Different rules in the surrounding states, more restrictive on who you hire and how you contract for construction. And, unfortunately with Illinois, with our tax policy and that kind of restriction on construction, added to, the environmental issues to build in Illinois. There was there would have been some delays with the Indiana bat and a chorus frog that would have taken about a year to have moved a frog and some bats. So that kind of thing is also detrimental to building projects on this scale. So all in all, it was a tough decision. We'd spent quite a lot of money and quite a lot of time and effort looking at that site, but it doesn't mean we're not going to continue to expand business. We're probably just going to do it in other states. We own a plant in Wisconsin. We own another facility in Missouri. And so we're still looking to expand business, but it just won't be at this Scott County project in Illinois.
Wow. So about the deal with choice in construction contractors. Mm-hmm. So that is that something that exists, or that's pending? That's something that you see is right down the road?
Yeah, it's Senate Bill 1407 in Illinois, and it's pending. And if it passes, it'll have restrictions. In the past, Fagan had built more than 100 of the 200 ethanol plants in the U.S. He's out of Minnesota, and you wouldn't be able to use the same contract like we used before to have him come in and build a plant. He built the plant in Rochelle, one of the plants in Pekin, built a number of plants, the plant in Galva, the plant in Anawan. And but under these new rules, you wouldn't be able to have the same type contract with him we've had in the past.
Wow. Okay. And that things like that are, especially if he's someone that knows how to build the plants, that's one thing. And if it also has an impact on the cost too, then that's the second thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the plant costs would go up by tens of millions of dollars on each phase. And then it just makes the return on investment, the ROI, makes the return on investment for the cash equity that you put in the project not acceptable. And so it's unfortunate. Fagan, because he had built 100 ethanol plants and they were all done on time and on budget, his construction projects are very bankable, and there's lenders that know of his success rate, and so it makes for a very good project like the one we have here at Hennepin and Putnam County, but this new rule would change that in a negative way.
What about with the whole waiver issue that has taken place over the last couple of years as well? What's that been like for you?
On DeLoss, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
Well, just the EPA granting hardship waivers with having an impact on ethanol demand. Yeah,
the SRE, the small refinery exemption. Very detrimental. And, of course, when Scott Pruitt was the director of the EPA, being an oil guy, we had a huge increase, I think up in the 30 or 35 or 40 waivers granted in 2017. We're remaining to see what are granted for last year for 2018 on those waivers. But essentially, the renewable fuel standard put in 2007 had a 15-year runway where renewable fuels would increase every year in our fuel supply. But he gave 2 billion gallons of waivers to refiners, including Carl Icahn's company and plants owned by Exxon, as hardship waivers for small refineries. And I think you can see the irony in that. As I just described, it's been very detrimental to, in a 15 billion gallon a year ethanol market, to take 2 billion gallons of demand away. It lowers the price of ethanol. Of course, that lowers the price we can pay for corn. And, there's a number of plants curtailed right now in the industry, which then when they curtail production on ethanol, they're not buying corn, and it hurts the demand for corn, and the corn price drops. So we're really disappointed that EPA has issued all these waivers and hope that won't happen again in 2018. It's finally come to light. It was kind of done in the dark of night in 2017, very damaging to the corn business.
Well, I wish we had better things to talk about, Mark, but I certainly appreciate you coming on the program and keeping us up to date. Best of luck also with plans for 2020 when they fix the locks and dams, because I know that's a logistics nightmare for you, but we'll have to talk about that down the road if that's okay with you.
We'll do that. I'd like to just say thank you to all the corn growers that plant corn and deliver to our plant. We appreciate them. We hope they'll get some dry weather and get their crops in and get some high yields, and we'll be ready to buy their corn.
Absolutely. Mark Marquis Energy in Hennepin on a Monday, RFD Today. Stay with us.
More farm news and information ahead. Stay tuned for more RFD Today here on the Illinois Farm Bureau Radio Network.
When it comes to our members, Chris Magnuson connects rural routes for you. Chris leads Illinois Farm Bureau's efforts to provide valuable information to our members. He has spent 2 decades with IFB. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a farm with corn, soybeans, and Christmas trees. I've been in ag communication for 3 decades now. My greatest satisfaction has always remained the same, to serve our members.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Attention corn farmers. Your corn checkoff dollars are working with the U.S. Meat Export Federation to grow red meat export volumes. Because when we're exporting beef, we're also exporting corn. The beef industry consumes 28% of all corn fed to livestock, plus additional corn in the form of DDGs, a co-product of ethanol production. Now that's what we call working an angle. Your checkoff is working corn from all angles. Because of the Illinois Corn Marketing Board, your profitability is our bottom line. A message from the Illinois Corn Checkoff.
I'm Trooper Teal with Illinois State Police. As we enter spring planting season in Illinois, it is imperative to eliminate distractions in your vehicle and pay attention to the farm equipment on the roadway. At 55 miles per hour, it takes only 5 seconds to close the gap the length of a football field between you and a tractor moving 5 miles per hour. Distracted Driving Awareness Month in April is a united effort to recognize and eliminate preventable deaths from distracted driving. Join us to help save lives.
A message from the Illinois Farm Bureau and the Illinois State Police.
What's the excitement about buying a brand new car when you pay full price for it? County Farm Bureau members have a reason to be excited. A Farm Bureau membership gives you 2 car purchase discounts. When members buy a new Ford vehicle, they receive $500 off their purchase. And with the purchase of a qualifying Lincoln vehicle, they receive $750 off. Everyone loves a good deal, and the money saved is worth the price of our annual membership. This is just one of our 300,000 plus discounts that are always changing to fit our members' needs. Not a Farm Bureau member? Visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
As you prepare for planting season, remember your neighbors. Whether you're an applicator, grower, or beekeeper, use FieldWatch to register your farm and monitor for sensitive sites around you. FieldWatch is a free, easy-to-use online mapping tool. Consulting FieldWatch is now a requirement for the over-the-top use dicamba products. Communicating with your neighbors will help you protect your farm and the environment. Don't wait. Go online to fieldwatch.com. Growing agriculture. We grow best together.
All ag.
All Illinois.
All now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food. Welcome back to RFD today on Monday. I'm DeLoss Yonke. Hey, Jennifer, are you looking to buy or sell? Check out the latest Farm Week classified advertisements. If you'd like to place an ad, you could call 800-573-6120 or submit online at farmweeknow.com. Jennifer Smith joining us from the IAA Foundation. How are you?
I am very good. Good morning.
Today is Celebration Day, and all of those hours of combing through applications reaches its big culmination today.
You are correct. Today is a very big day for the IAA Foundation. We get to announce our scholarship recipients today.
If I remember right, it was a record number of applicants.
You remember correctly.
Yes.
389 applications this year.
Wow.
That we read each and every one of them to come to our 69 recipients.
69 recipients. That's pretty good. That is one of the challenges when the numbers go up. But still, that's better than 1 out of 6. That's pretty good. That's pretty good odds. So,
right.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so of those 389 applicants, we had 91 counties represented this year,
wow.
Which also is an increase over last year.
That's fantastic.
And like you said, they are pretty good odds, but awarding 69 scholarships, we're still saying no to a lot of excellent students, unfortunately.
Right. Well, maybe that's another thing that can also grow in there as well as the number of opportunities to give. I'm sure you guys are working on that on a regular basis. So there were surely some that went straight to the top, and then part of this is like, okay, let's come back to this and let's go over it again, and so it is. I assume it is an exhaustive process.
We put a lot of hours in, so we do read all of them. We read all of the essays, activities. We are really looking for those students that are well-rounded, that are good academically in the classroom. They're also good in their communities. And you're right, we do multiple layers of review. And so those kids that come to the top right away definitely stand out. But then we dig back in. We have other people read the applications at that point to make sure we're all seeing the same thing. And you touched on a great point, too, that we do have donors that support these scholarships. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those donors do participate in the review process as well.
Really?
So they're looking at some of the top candidates to see what fits what they're looking for.
Well, that's nice. That's nice to have a say because, if they're going to provide the check, they certainly want to stand behind the people who are getting it. So that's also a challenge, though, because you have to keep this pretty well in-house. If 50 people are looking at this, then you've got 50 different opinions on who should get it, and so it's all got to be in pretty tight quarters.
You're correct. But we do want to make sure that we have somebody checking us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do stay current and relevant with what activity students are being involved in. And again, we want to see them active not only in their academics and staying with good grades, but we want to see that they're giving back to their communities, participating in 4-H and FFA, school clubs, and not only that they're participating, but that they're taking a leadership role in those, that they're holding offices or they're coordinating an event for their school or a community service event, a food drive, that they're taking that active role, not just participating in it.
Okay. All right. Enough dilly-dally. There are 69, but there are 4 in particular, especially every year, and they come here as well. We get a chance to visit with them in the summer, but there are 4 major scholarships amongst those 69. Not to belittle any of the others, but especially from a cash perspective for a dollar amount, there are 4 big ones.
There are. So our scholarships range anywhere from $1,000, that's the lowest amount that we award, all the way up to $7,500.
Wow.
So without further ado, we are pleased and proud to announce Chase Clausen as our Farm Bureau Legacy of Leadership Scholarship recipient for 2019.
Excellent. Where is he from?
Chase is from Genoa, and he is the son of Jeffrey and Anna Clausen, and they are members of the DeKalb County Farm Bureau. Chase will be entering his junior year this fall, studying agribusiness markets and management at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
I've seen this before where someone already in college, especially, they probably have more opportunities, for leadership and putting events together, like you said. Mm-hmm. So many students get their scholarships going into their freshman year. To get one going into your junior year, that's just...
Well, that is the requirement for our Legacy of Leadership Scholarship. Yes, you must be entering as a junior in the fall. And that's our most competitive and our highest award of $7,500. So
Wow.
we're really making a significant investment in Chase's future.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're an upperclassman or midway through and you find out there's a scholarship opportunity, you're like, really? There's a chance for that? And yeah, you got to go for it.
Absolutely.
So, excellent. A couple more then.
We do. So we're also very pleased to announce our 3 top scholars. So we'll run down them just one by one. This year, receiving a top scholar award of $5,000 each. One recipient is Isaac Brockman. Isaac will be entering his freshman year at Illinois State University and studying agribusiness. Isaac is from Verona in Kendall County and is a member of the Kendall-Grundy County Farm Bureau and the son of Jason and Miranda Brockman.
Just recently, Kendall-Grundy County Farm Bureau. They just came together earlier this year.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one more?
2 more.
2 more.
2 more. We like to give money.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Another top scholar that we're pleased to present $5,000 to this year is Tyler Jenkins. Tyler also will be entering his freshman year at Illinois State University, studying agricultural and consumer economics. Tyler is from Streeter and is the son of Kevin and Margaret Jenkins. Streeter is in Livingston County.
Sure. Okay. We have 30 seconds before we go to break.
Ooh, fast. Our final top scholar receiving $5,000 is Nicholas Close. Nicholas will be entering his junior year at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, studying agriculture and consumer economics. Nicholas is from Reynolds in Mercer County.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to all them. We'll talk a little bit more about this, and we'll break down some things by majors and schools and get into some more discussions. But today is Celebration Day for the newly announced scholarship winners of the IAA Foundation. We'll have more to come on RFD today.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Kay Shipman connects rural routes for you. For 3 decades, Kay has delivered important news. She covers everything from legislative issues to the latest in soil and water conservation. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I love covering so many aspects of agriculture and providing readers with the facts they need to make better decisions. I also get to work with farmers and meet new people along the way.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com and Farm Week keep you connected.
Does the warmer weather have you itching for a weekend getaway? Take your Illinois Farm Bureau membership savings with you.
Farm Bureau members can save up to 20% at choice hotels, including favorites like Comfort Suites, Sleep Inn, Quality Inn and Suites, with even more to choose from.
Call 800-258-2847 or visit the Choice Hotels website to search all the hotels at once and to make advance reservations.
Contact your local county farm bureau for your discount code number.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Still a couple of cents higher for corn. Soybeans are down 0.5 cent, and wheat futures are down 5 to 6. May corn up 2 1/4, 353 1/2. July up 2, 363 1/4. December up 2, 382 3/4. May soybeans down 0.5 cent, 853 1/4. July down 0.5, 866 1/2. November down a penny, 886 3/4. May wheat down 6 1/2, 428 1/2. That's on the low for the day. July down 5 3/4, 436 3/4. Livestock, meanwhile, May hogs down $1.55, 85.45, and June down 85 cents, 87.90. June cattle down 32 points, 114.72. DeLoss Yankee, RFD Radio Network. Welcome back to RFD Today on a Monday. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Jennifer Smith's in here from the IAA Foundation, naming the big winners of the IAA Scholarship Program. So what happens now for these that you named as well as for all the 69?
Absolutely. So if anybody's interested in the full list of scholarship recipients for 2019, please visit our website at iaafoundation.org. Or they also are a full page in Farm Week this week. So your issue, today's issue of Farm Week.
I I was going to say, hopefully we've got that strategically placed here. So it's all in. It's in this week's edition of Farm Week, and then announcing it today as well.
Correct. And this is always really hard for us to keep this under wraps because we get very excited to let our students know that they've received a scholarship, and I know the parents are really excited as well. So. Well,
here's the other thing. So last Monday in April. And for those that are in school already, it's almost finals time. And for the others, they're thinking about graduation and prom and all that sort of thing. So when that phone call comes, that, especially in this case, $7,500 or $5,000, I mean, that's a pretty incredible feeling for the students and for the school and for the parents and the family. That's certainly a day of celebration.
It is. And our top scholars that we previously talked about, they actually get a phone call from our leadership.
Oh, wow.
So our Legacy of Leadership Scholarship recipient, Chase Clausen, he received a phone call from President Rich Giebert.
Wow. And
so that is a pretty great call to receive.
That's pretty cool. If I were on the other end of that, I would be saying, okay, now, who is this again? And just let me write this down here because I'm about to call my mom and I want to make sure I know what I'm telling her. But yeah, it's not every day you get a call from President Giebert. So
it's not.
So that's excellent. One of the things that's interesting is I can't even count this quickly, but I'm guessing 12, 13 different schools, right. Higher institutions represented here.
Yeah, so one of the things we like to do after we announce our recipients is kind of start to break down some of the data. So not only do we know that we had 91 counties represented for our applicants, we like to see where our recipients are going to school and what they're studying in school. So one thing that you talked about earlier, too, was what year they're entering in school. And while a lot of scholarships are just for incoming college freshmen, our scholarships are for their entire college experience. We also support graduate students. So one thing we like to remind students is to reapply for our scholarships because you can continue to receive them throughout your entire college career.
Well, does that matter if I've already received or if I haven't yet?
It does not matter. We will re-award to students.
I think Rachel Hawk is an example of that, where she won a couple.
Yeah, we have quite a few. And actually, one of our top scholars, Nicholas, has been a recipient the past 2 years as well.
Yeah, excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
And you know what? As much as we like to keep things in Illinois, some of these scholarships are going to students they're from Illinois, and hopefully they're coming back to Illinois, but they may be pursuing in other states as well, and a very wide variety of intended majors.
You're right.
A lot of different disciplines.
You're right. And so of our recipients, the top intended major is agribusiness, closely followed by agricultural education. And that's one that's moved up the list. So Ag Ed has moved up a couple of spots from our top majors. So that's exciting to see that a lot of these students are wanting to come back and teach in the ag field as well. The majority of our scholarships are all required to be ag-related majors. And so we like to also promote how many majors really are ag-related. That's one education point that we can continue to talk about because not everybody correlates the ag-related where it should be.
Yeah, I'm looking through here, and I thought I'd see at least elementary ed or some sort of business course, but from ag communications to agronomy to pre-vet, agri-accounting. I didn't even know that was a major.
That is, and actually we had a scholarship very specifically for that major this year, which was the first year to award that one. So we're really pleased to be able to continue to expand the scholarship offerings that we have through generous gifts from our donors, from farm gifts and legacy gifts. So we continue to grow our scholarship availability, and hopefully we'll read way more than 389 applications next year.
Yeah, by all means.
I might regret saying that.
2 and 4 year schools as well.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Really neat.
Absolutely. So also trade schools are represented. So we do have some students that are going into the trades. It's really one of those opportunities that we can support students no matter how they're going to touch agriculture in the future. So there are 2-year, 4-year trade schools. It's really, again, that great opportunity just to support students and really say to them that we believe in their future and we know they're going to make a great impact in Farm Bureau and in agriculture.
Wow. Well, between ag and the classroom, that and this, I mean, these are the two biggies that the foundation is involved with on a year-round basis. Do you know off the top of your head the dollar amount, like the total of the 69? You know, what if you add them all together, what would you get to?
We are getting $106,900 this year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if you add that to what the counties are doing, so our county farm bureaus have scholarship programs as well. So if you add what we do and what our counties do on an annual basis, we're supporting over $875,000 of scholarships.
Wow. That's more than 7/8 of $1 million.
Glad you can do that, Matt.
That's fantastic. Wow. Now, so someone hears that, and they, I've always wanted to do something like that, but I don't know if I have a big enough pile to even get the process started. What's the first step that they could do with you?
Just reach out to us and have a conversation. So there's lots of different ways that people can start a scholarship. They can fund it on an annual basis. They can leave us part of their will in their estate. So there's a lot of different ways to give back. So a lot of our donors do feel like they received a lot of help while they were in college, and that's one of the main reasons they want to support the future, kind of pay it forward, if you will.
And I assume these don't have to last till the end of time.
They do not.
This could be something where I just do it for 5 years or 10 years and...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because someone may say, well, I don't have that much where it's going to go, forever. So but that's not necessarily how it works. So
nope.
Just get the ball rolling.
It is. And we like to bring our scholarship recipients in each July. So they come in and they meet the board of directors, and we really recognize them on that day. And we also invite the donors in on that day. And it's a great pairing to be able to put the students and the donors together in the same room. And I think... that relationship is a two-way street. Our donors really get a lot of feel-good about meeting their students, and the same is said for the students who get to meet the donor and the person supporting their future.
Well, not having one in, but already trying to determine which kid I love more and which one I'm sending to higher education. Any kind of financial aid is certainly at a premium now. So. And hopefully the students also understand as well that this is a significant investment we're putting in you, and so that's there for a reason. I'm sure they will carry that quite responsibly.
They do, and we are always impressed with our top scholars and our legacy of leadership scholarship recipients. They stay part of Farm Bureau, they stay part of agriculture, and we really enjoy tracking them, as they enter their careers and seeing where they go.
Fantastic. Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, great day to celebrate this, and the whole list is available in this week's edition of Farm Week. We'll be able to see it also at farmweeknow.com. But 69 winners of scholarships through the IAA Foundation. And as Jennifer said, there are also hundreds of thousands of dollars being given at the county level as well. So from that, because there is so much, you need the folks to apply in the first place, to know about it in the first place, and we need to keep those students active as well during their high school and early college days as well. That's phenomenal to be able to give scholarships to people who are upperclassmen in colleges and universities. All right, we'll go from a real feel-good story and good news being spread around to talking to the grain markets. Dale Dirkholz will bring us down to earth a little bit here from AgriVisor on a Monday, RFD Today. Stay with us. Let's check livestock markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yonke. Illinois Direct Hog Market Friday held steady to firm, $51 to $60 a hundredweight. Sow Market also steady to firm, $49 to $58 for lightweights, $55 to $65 for heavyweights. The live market has held firm, while the futures market has lost about $12 a hundredweight in just the past 2 weeks. Greenville, last week, slaughter steers and heifers 2 to 3 higher on high choice, 3 to 5 higher on low choice and selects. Choice steers and heifers 127 to 131, high yieldings to 133, and some prime heifers to 136. Prime steers to 137. Low choice and select had a top of 120. And on the feeders, 6-weight feeder steers 115 to 140. DeLoss Yonke, RFD Radio Network.
How do people benefit from raising livestock here in Illinois? Rich Giebert, Illinois farmer, president of the Illinois Farm Bureau.
Well, growing up on a livestock farm was always interesting, and I enjoy it more today than I did back then. But it did give me the opportunity to have a good work ethic, learn to get up in the morning. And that was difficult during my senior days at high school and college days. I had a tendency not to go to bed at a respectable hour. But no, it was always enjoyable on the farm and getting up before daybreak and milking the cows and getting the chores done and then go about the rest of the day's business.
Illinois Farm Bureau, along with beef, corn, milk, pork, and soybean associations, make up the Livestock Development Group, supporting the Illinois livestock sector. For more information, check out illinoislivestock.org.
All right, we're back on a Monday. Dale Dirkholz is here, senior analyst at AgriVisor, who's, well, you're in a good mood considering what we're up against here. So
hey, where'd my phone Mikey thing
It's
go?
over there. They got moved.
They got moved?
Yes. I don't. Yeah. So that one doesn't have the wind sock. So hopefully the wind won't be blowing much throughout the studio. But meanwhile, a lot of hot air from Dale, as we always get on.
I'm trying to kill time because there's nothing to really talk about.
Last Monday in April,
Wednesday is May.
We can't plant. We can't move grain. So what do we can't move last year's crop. We can't plant this year's crop. What does that mean, if anything, for these markets?
And you can't put fertilizer on because it's raining now and it's wet and muddy. Speaking of which, behind my house I have 2 fields. And last week, the end of the week, somebody, the one farmer came out and knifed on ammonia.
Mm-hmm.
He had a few ruts.
Yes.
He had a few ruts.
Compaction.
Not terribly deep, but I'd say I could go down about 8 inches or so. A couple of spots, I'm kind of like, it's a little wet out here.
Yeah. Compaction can be the gift that keeps on giving.
And this piece of farmland, although it's a little rolling in it, it's pretty high, drained well, but still, it just kind of testifies to the fact that we've got a lot of moisture in the ground here. I did see one estimate here early this morning, and I think it's a bit generous. Somebody went through a thing, and they had polled some people they know at different states to look at planting progress, et cetera. And the thing that jumped out at me, they had Iowa at like 37%.
No.
And I'm kind of like,
no.
No way.
No.
3
or 7, not 37.
Well, Iowa's had better weather than we have. They really have, especially as you go towards the western, southwestern edge.
Mm-hmm.
But you still haven't had great weather across the whole state to put a third of the crop down. And I think maybe part of the issue is that, if you're driving down the road and trying to gauge and you go, wow, somebody's done something in that field. A lot of people forget they probably had to go out and knife in ammonia before they even plant the corn crop, and they're mistaking an ammonia track probably for a planter track. So I don't think we're going to be there. I pulled a couple people the end of last week just to get a gauge of what they thought today's national number would be, and I haven't seen a quote-unquote trade estimate yet. But general consensus was 13 to 15%. Last year was 17%. Everybody's going, well, look, we got off to a slow start last year.
Yep.
But last year the soils were dry.
Not dry this year.
And we were waiting for warmth, and we're not dry this year. So, I think the whole planting game is going to wrap up. That's part of the game why we saw corn strong at the end of last week, part of the reason that we're strong here as we started the day today. Also part of the reason why the bean market's a little bit weak. Everybody's going, well, we won't plant corn, we'll plant beans. And my comment is with low bean prices, et cetera, I don't know that that's a certainty either.
Wheat futures, meanwhile, these nearby contracts, I believe, around 428 or so, somewhere in that range. I mean, at what point do we find a bottom end in there?
0.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Actually, you really can't build a hugely negative story in wheat. When we had surpluses that were quite a bit bigger than today, at least what I call available traded surpluses back in 2016. We did have spikes down to, on the nearby contract anyway, to around 360, 370, I think was the low. I think under $4 is just, there's nothing there anymore right now. And the big issue with wheat is that there just isn't any reason for people to buy it. Although this week we're going to have to keep an eye on things because we start the annual, and you would know.
When do we start?
Wheat tour.
Is that right?
Kansas.
Oh
yes.
My gosh,
the first
is that happening now?
The first week in May.
Oh my gosh, I still remember. Well, I have thoughts about, and this was one anecdotal evidence 25 years ago where there were a bunch of people that had the number pretty high, and I said, I'd sure like to meet the people that had the number pretty high, and turned out I was sitting in the car with them on the way back from the Kansas City Board of Trade. But the highest figures were all from the same company, which could be a coincidence. And then
what did that company happen to do?
They were in the grain business.
Were they in the milling business?
Yeah.
Though? Well, if you were in the milling business, you would want a high number to press the market, right?
Exactly right. Well, I'd be curious what they see this year, because actually the crop should be a lot better than
it is. It's going to be a lot better wheat crop in Kansas and the surrounding areas than what they've had the last 2 years at this particular time. But, I think a lot of people have pretty high, reasonably high expectations of what kind of wheat yield we could get out of Kansas. So it's going to be interesting to see what they really find when they go out in the field this year, because what you see going down the road at 50, 60 mile an hour like they do for the crop condition ratings and what you actually find when you walk out in the field sometimes are two different things, too.
Yeah. We drove from Colby to Coolidge.
Where's Coolidge?
5 miles from Colorado.
Oh, okay.
That's where Cousin Eddie's from the vacation movies. And then to Garden City and then to Wichita.
I did not know that. He's from Coolidge?
Yes, that's right. I was there last fall, in fact.
Do they have a rusty RV sitting out there?
No, they don't, but they do have a thrift store there called Cousin Eddie's. And, yes, when you see a sign like that, you have to stop. All right. Dale Dirkholz, Senior Analyst at AgriVisor. On tomorrow's program, we'll talk with the Chief Economist of the American Bankers Association, talking about how ag lending was up about 5% 2018 versus 2017. We'll get into that and some other trends as well.
Ask him what it's like this year.
Yeah, let's see what those early returns are, no doubt. I'm DeLoss Yankee saying watch your ends. We'll be back in studio tomorrow.
More farm news and information ahead. Stay tuned for more RFD Today here on the Illinois Farm Bureau Radio Network.